Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Herald here on Badlands Media. I am your host, Jon Herold, and hope you all had a great weekend. Happy Monday. It is a Monday, though. Mondays are the worst. And weekend news, as I always say, it's just kind of weird. You'd think a full 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and even most of the rest of Friday, we'd get a lot more stuff to talk about. But I mean, there's plenty. It's just nothing's that exciting, except maybe the shutdown. The shutdown, it feels different. This one feels more serious. It feels less like a rug pull than previous times we've discussed it. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll cover a little bit of it. Neither side appears to be budging. But other than that, there's agencies putting out their actual contingency plans for if it goes into place. So that's why it feels real. We'll get into that. We'll talk about Bibi Netanyahu. He's at the White House right now meeting with Trump. Got a whole host of other stories. But before we get into any of that, let's get a quick word from a couple of our sponsors. If I can find it. Here we go. First up, we got Goldco. Guys, is your wealth ready for Trump's next wave? Gold loves a Trump headline, and it is soaring. From the day he first took office, gold prices have climbed, gaining nearly $400 per ounce since his second term began. Why is that? Because gold thrives in uncertainty. It's a time-tested safe haven, immune to government meddling, a shield against inflation, and a proven way to protect your wealth when markets wobble. With Trump's second term heating up, will gold smash new records in 2025? Nobody knows how high it could go, but smart investors aren't waiting to find out. Take control today. You can even qualify for up to a 10% bonus in free silver. Discover an IRS-approved way to diversify your savings with gold and silver, tax and penalty-free. Get your free gold and silver kit delivered straight to your door and learn how to safeguard your future. Visit badlandsgold.com to claim your kit and start building a stronger portfolio today. That's badlandsgold.com. We also got a quick word from us here at Badlands, the Badlands Shop. If you guys haven't yet, you got to check it out. When your favorite Badlands show wraps up without a raid, which hopefully you guys are happy about, because I get a lot of complaints about the raiding feature, which I have nothing to do with, visit the Badlands website to explore our incredible sponsors. From products featured on the show to kickstarting your shopping list, the Badlands Shop has you covered. Every purchase you make is a powerful vote for the future you believe in. We make it easy to shop America first, supporting Badlands creators and patriot small businesses that champion freedom in the process. You're not just buying a product, you're feeling a movement with every dollar that you spend. Thank you for supporting these businesses that support Badlands Media. Head over to badlandsmedia.tv, click on Shop from the menu, or go directly to badlandsmedia.tv/shop. The video wasn't playing? What's not playing? Am I not live on Rumble? What the heck? Now it says I'm not live on Rumble, and I don't know why that would be. It says I'm live. Can you guys hear me? What is going on with Rumble lately? Let's see if I can do this. You guys see me now? So weird. Let's see. Sorry for everybody else that's watching. I'm trying to figure out why it's not airing to Rumble right now. Oh, there we go. I don't know what there's something going on with Studio and Rumble. So I see I'm live over there now, but I had to, I'm not streaming through Studio to do it. It's so weird. So apologies, guys. You just missed my intro to the show. If you're watching on Rumble, you also missed the two sponsors, badlandsgold.com and badlandsmedia.tv/shop. The best way to support some America First businesses and Badlands Media in the process. So yeah, make sure you tell people to refresh the screen. Refresh your Rumble. It should be there. So dumb. I don't know what is going on with my computer lately. I probably got hacked. Who knows? But anyway, we're just gonna get right into it since we're 6 minutes in, and you guys just got the feed over on Rumble. If you want to miss the great 5 minutes of intro that I just did, I would encourage you to go watch on YouTube or Twitter. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up while you're over there. But yeah, guys, no update on the Doge website. And we may not get an update for a while with the shutdown looming, which is kind of exciting to think about. Not the fact that we won't get updated, but the government is potentially shutting down. There's no update on the presidential website either. Fine with that. But yeah, here we go. We have there's no blinking as of yet from Trump or Capitol Hill. President Donald Trump and congressional leaders appear primed for a conflict ahead of Monday's 3 p.m. White House meeting with less than 2 days to go before a shutdown. And there's no sign that either side plans to blink. So apparently they're actually going to meet. That's news to me. Here's a quick rundown with some news of where all parties stand. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune are poised to hold their ground as Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries press for a compromise on health policy, including an extension of the Affordable Care Act subsidies that expire at the end of the year. For senior Republicans, striking any kind of ACA deal would cause major problems with their own members. While some GOP moderates are pushing for an extension, several hardliners warned Republican leadership over the weekend not to cut a deal on the subsidies. It's so stupid how they do this. They create this panic around the shutdown. Oh, thank you, AJC, for the gifted subs, man. Really appreciate that. They create this panic, and they wait to the last minute. And by doing that, they are able to excuse away bad behavior, essentially. They're going to force through a bunch of BS, or at least that's what they typically do in these situations. Like, oh, we averted a shutdown. Oh, thank goodness. We did have to give the Democrats $1.5 trillion worth of BS they don't need, but at least we averted that shutdown. That could have been catastrophic. When the thing that they pass to get us to avoid the shutdown is catastrophic in and of itself. We just don't really feel it until later. But that's what they're trying to do. And we finally have, I don't know if it's Trump taking the lead on this. I'm assuming it is Trump and his team. Russ Vought, maybe. They're not going to deal with this that way anymore, which is great. I'm not on the rug. I'm not, because they have a meeting. I'm sure they're going to come out of this meeting and be like, oh, we made a deal, and it's going to be stupid. But I want to be on this rug so bad. Like I want this shutdown. I want a shutdown. I'm going to read a little bit more of this and then show you why I think this is the closest we've probably been in a while. Let's see here. GOP leaders are privately cautioning Trump not to agree to any ACA extension until after they resolve the funding impasse. There are new signs of coordination on a potential health deal. That sucks. A group of Senate Republicans is working on a proposal for later this year that would pair an extension of the subsidies with conservative policy changes. Members of this contingent are talking with White House officials and CMS Administrator Mehmet Oz to make sure any blueprint would be in alignment between lawmakers and the White House. Republican leadership is also threatening logistical pressure. The Senate will likely wait until Tuesday to vote again on the GOP continuing resolution, and House GOP leaders have been considering keeping the chamber in recess next week during a shutdown. And they should be in recess or in session until they get it figured out. Although I would love the illegitimate Congress not to be there at all. Like, just go home. We don't need you. But if they're going to pretend that they're legitimate and working for us, then they shouldn't be allowed to do anything other than sit inside those chambers until whatever they got to do. Johnson will hold a call with House Republicans at 11:15 a.m. on Monday. So I'm assuming that's Eastern. So I'm assuming that call is already done ahead of the White House meeting. But again, Trump is meeting with Netanyahu right now prior to whatever this negotiation meeting that they're holding. The timing of that is interesting, isn't it? We always talk about how Israel's like funding all these elected representatives, and he's there meeting with Trump prior to the people that Israel's allegedly funding is meeting with Trump on whether or not to keep the government open. It's funny stuff. Some Republicans remain hopeful that enough Democrats will advance the GOP continuing resolution like they did in March. But if not, they warn Trump will make a shutdown politically painful, given his latitude over what agencies and programs stay open. Todd Kim, 2009. Hey, fam, jumping in for the algorithm. Now back to work while listening. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, those who just watch without participating in the chat, one, I would encourage you to participate in the chat just because we have such a good chat group on all the Badlands shows. We have a great community here. But two, just come in and say hi. It helps with the algorithm. And speaking of the algorithm stuff that we need to do for Rumble to participate in the creator program, every month we have to do the 5 hours of exclusive premium subscriber streams. I had forgotten to do that so far this month, and I have to get 5 hours in like today. So after the stream, I'm going to play some more Gart. It's going to be the exclusive premium subscriber stream. It will also be aired to YouTube. Hopefully the studio thing works. Because if it doesn't work, man, I don't know what we're going to do. Rocky 2020 and then 1 says, John, I believe next year we will see major increase in arrests. That'd be great. I would love to see it. I'm not going to get my hopes up, though, because we've been saying that for a long time. Thank you, everybody who's participating in the chat. You guys are great. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what to think of this shutdown. I really want it to be real. The DOD actually put out their contingency plan for the shutdown. They issue shutdown guidance, prioritizing border security, Mideast operations, and critical defense programs. And there's a document right here. And I love the title of it because it's continuity of operations. So continuity of government and continuity of operations themselves are a contingency plan. Those are contingency plans. And now this is specifically because of lack of funding. So this is how they're going to continue their operations if the shutdown ends up coming through. It goes through a whole bunch of stuff too. First, how they interact with the OMB and the plans and sending it to the OMB and whatnot. They talk about which military personnel are going to be remain active and remain getting paid. Most of them are active duty people. They talk about what role the civilian people are going to be doing. So I'm going to post this in the chat too for you guys, just in case you are in the military in some form or fashion and would like to know whether or not you're keeping your job. Although I'm assuming you may have gotten an email or two about this. But for the rest of us, it talks about what's reimbursable to other agencies. It talks about temporary duty and travel. I thought there was one in this one, the visits by foreign dignitaries. They're all canceled unless they are necessary for safety of human life or protection of property by directly supporting accepted national security operations. That's an interesting one. And if we do get the shutdown, I'm curious to see if there are any visits by foreign dignitaries to, I don't know if it would just be the United States generally, like if Trump can still meet with foreign leaders, or if this is specifically for the Department of War. I'm assuming it's Department of War. But anyway, they talk about contractors and what they can do if they had an existing contract in place that can continue to carry it out, meaning if they're, if something was funded, if their job was funded, they can keep doing it, but they're not going to, they can negotiate new contracts, but they can't actually like obtain the supplies or whatever, I believe, to do it. The department, maybe I'm wrong. Let me read this. The department may continue to enter into new contracts or place task orders under existing contracts to obtain supplies, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. So it's existing stuff. But then this is the big one. This is the big part right here. Departmental priorities, Department of War. Okay. As of September 2025, the department considers efforts to support the following among its highest priorities. So this is Trump's Department of War 2025 telling us what their priorities are in the event that shit goes haywire. Number one, it's operations to secure the U.S. southern border. And really, it should just be the entire border. But this this is huge. This is what our military is supposed to be doing and has always supposed to have been doing. Protect the homeland. It's the entire point. We have a military to defend us, its citizens. It's strayed from that at times over the years. Sometimes in the name of doing that, but it wasn't actually doing that. But that's number one. Number two is Middle East operations. It's kind of vague. Don't know what that means. I don't know how many Middle East operations we're even doing right now. I thought we withdrew from Afghanistan. I know Trump is trying to get the base back from the Taliban, and I have a story on that later. Does this have to do with Israel? Maybe. I don't know. The Golden Dome for America. Love it. I think that's mostly space stuff, even though they say not. I did an old interview with General Quast on that. I should have him back on to talk about an update. Depot maintenance. Is that like Home Depot maintenance? Or what depots specifically are they talking about? Shipbuilding. I thought that was interesting. Critical munitions, that makes sense. If you remember, during the Biden administration, we were sending so much ammo and whatnot to Ukraine that we were like impacting our own munition supply. So yeah, we definitely want to build those back up and keep that going. But other than that, everything else is not necessarily accepted or an accepted program or personnel. I love it. Anytime I see a document come out from the DoD talking about contingency plannings or continuity of operations, it's great. Even though it's a different kind of context, it's still awesome. The duration or accepted duration of the lapse is also relevant to whether the continuance of activities may implicate an imminent threat to the safety of human life or the protection of property, and therefore to whether they may be reasonably deemed accepted. Component and subordinate leaders will continuously evaluate the evolving circumstances of a lapse and adjust their determinations for accepted activities as appropriate, ensuring that department leadership remains informed. And what I love about this last paragraph is when I wrote the Devolution series and we were trying to figure out what this thing is that is there and taking place, but we don't know exactly what it is, but we think we do. That Part 13, Executive Order 13961, and the strategy document that came with it, it talked a lot about this mindset. Like, we are going to not having to do with the shutdown, again, different context, but I still think it's interesting. We're going to continuously evaluate all the evolving circumstances in this continuity government scenario we find ourselves in, this devolution of government that we believe is taking place. And as things happen, you adjust accordingly, which is exactly what we think happened. And even though we don't know the full details or the framework that was put in place, it's something along those lines. And looking at this too, like these are it's almost the mission essential functions that I used to talk about all the time, and that we still do sometimes talk about. Like this is the bare minimum that we have to keep doing. And I mean, this is kind of a lot, and it makes sense because it has to do with funding. But in what we talked about previously with like a devolution scenario, it didn't have to be nearly this much. Like some of this stuff was already in place by whoever was in control of the full scope of the military. The devolution operation only needed bare bones things. So me and BB will probably cover this on Wednesday, whether or not the shutdown actually takes place, because I think this is relevant context and information that we can apply to what we've seen previously. Hopefully by Wednesday. No, I guess it'll be Wednesday during the power hour. Or is it? No, I'm confused. It's the 30th. Or is it October 1st? Now I got to figure this out. When exactly does the government shut down? When does the government? Let me see here. It'll be 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday. I'm assuming Eastern. So we'll be live on the power hour. Maybe we can do a countdown like they do on New Year's Eve. We can watch BB's balls drop and celebrate the shutdown. I think it'd be wonderful. If we make it that far, maybe they come to an agreement at the meeting today, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I said BB is at the White House right now. I might have a clip, and I'm assuming Ghost, I think, is going to be covering it. He was live earlier covering his arrival and talking about nuclear power plants and stuff. He gave an entire lesson on how nukes work or nuclear reactors work. Thought that was really interesting. Actually, I listened to a little bit of it, but I do believe there's going to be some sort of joint press conference with Trump and Netanyahu at some point. And And Ghost, I believe, will be covering that. But I'm going to pull up his page here and see before I read the story. Yeah, here we go. Netanyahu arrives at the White House, and just want to point this out before I play the video. What Ghost says: no smiles from Trump. Same tie he wore on Inauguration Day, red tie with blue small crosshatch pattern. Note that he is wearing the same F-35 lapel pin that he wore during the Erdogan meeting. Possible signal that he is going to give Turkey the F-16 and F-35 planes they ordered years ago. They've been on hold due to Russia scandals, and those planes would be used against the IDF in southern Syria to deter an Israeli ground war with Iran. So let's watch here. Oh, you guys, I'm an idiot. Yes, it's Tuesday night. So maybe we'll have to do a special live stream. That'll be during what show? DEFCON 0. Maybe a couple of us can come on DEFCON 0 Tuesday night, and we can do the ball drop then, the countdown. You guys are right. It's Monday, okay? It's been a long weekend. Give me a break. Yesterday, oh my gosh, yesterday. My kids are in all sorts of activities, soccer, football, cheerleading. My day was 12:30, my son had a birthday party. 1 o'clock, my daughter had cheerleading for a flag football. It's kind of cute. But then my son had a makeup soccer game at 2 and flag football at 4. And we had to coordinate getting it. Oh, it was crazy. But yes, you guys are right. The time, we'll celebrate it tomorrow night. Anyway, let's go back to this.
Mr. President, do we have a deal, sir? Are you confident, sir, there'll be peace in Gaza anytime soon? The 21-point plan, is everyone on board?
Will we have a deal today, Mr. President?
Mr. Prime Minister, have you agreed to the deal?
I think it's interesting, too, at the end there. He doesn't actually pat him on the back.
Prime Minister, have you agreed to the deal?
Didn't want to touch him. Shouting a bunch of questions, super annoying. You could wait 10, 15 hour, whatever, how long it's going to take until they do the press conference and maybe ask those then. It's just kind of just a weird job. Go stand outside the White House and yell things at the building to see if they'll give you a comment. Get a life, people. I did see somebody saying, who was it? Sparrow says, you are totally on the rug, LOL. I'm slightly on the rug. But I'll know for sure if I'm on the rug after the meeting this afternoon. And I'll let you guys know. Going on DEF CON would be awesome, John. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And I'll let you guys know. But yeah, we'll stay tuned to Badlands, though. I'm assuming we're going to cover the press conference. I think it'll be interesting. Trump recently came out and said that there's going to be no, what do you say? He's not going to let Israel take over the West Bank or something. I don't remember the exact quote, but we'll see what happens. Do want to read this, though. President Donald Trump is optimistic about his administration's 21-point peace plan for Gaza, which has drawn some initial support from other countries in the region. They're going to be the ones that have to implement it. So yeah, I'd hope so. But getting Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on board is another matter. Trump said Friday that he thought the agreement, which calls for a permanent ceasefire, was very close, just as Netanyahu vowed to finish the job with Hamas in Gaza during a defiant speech to the United Nations General Assembly that was met with walkouts by several delegations. On Monday, when the two leaders meet again in the White House, the U.S. president will try to close the gap with Netanyahu. Trump believes is losing his grip on power, according to two senior administration officials who were granted anonymity to discuss the meeting. I would love to do that someday. Just, I grant you an anonymity. Is there a certain blessing you have to give them to give them that? So stupid. Bibi is on his own island, not just from us, from his own government. And said one of the officials, even if Trump secures Netanyahu's support on the day after plan, there's hardly any active diplomacy between Hamas and Israel on ending the fighting. That's because Israel blew up the Hamas people while they're at Qatar. Have you guys noticed the huge shift, too, in blaming Qatar funding? It's gotten really bad lately. They may have been doing it for a while, but the last week or so, I've heard Qatar funded, talking points or something, however they'd say it, so many times when I don't remember seeing it that way prior. It's very deliberate. It's a psyop of sorts. When it comes to this, I'm curious to see how how the meeting goes. Like there's been meetings at the White House before with Trump this term, and I'm thinking of Zelensky. Like Zelensky came, or a world leader came. I think it was Zelensky, and Trump was like pissed, and they left, and he's like, yeah, there's no making peace here. We can't get peace. Not with him in charge. Like at some point, are we going to get that kind of rhetoric from Trump on him as well? I don't know. Misbehaving Irishman says it did today. What are they talking about? Anyone? What'd you say, Misbehaving Irishman? Question to the chat. When was the last time you ever seen a foreign head of state not be received without a color guard? It's a great point. I did see that on Twitter too. No color guard. Very interesting. Kelly and Oak, I hate the fact that sometimes I don't know if we're talking about BB or BB. Is it Netanyahu or Burning Bright? That is difficult. If there's any reason to get a new leader in Israel, that might be the one nearest and dearest to my heart. So there's no more confusion. But yeah, we'll see, guys. We'll see what happens. Should have an update on that. Maybe even while we're live here. Maybe we'll get some news. Few Trump True Social posts, like he went on a rampage over the weekend, reposting a whole bunch of like everything. You know, one of his tears, memes, videos. It's like his Saturday or Sunday night data dump. There was a huge shooting I don't know if you guys saw this. This was pretty devastating. The shooting over the weekend at the Church of Latter-day Saints. I have been briefed on the horrendous shooting that took place at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. The FBI was immediately on scene and will be leading the federal investigation, providing full support to state and local officials. The suspect is dead, but there is still a lot to learn. It appears to be another targeted attack on Christians in the United States of America. The Trump administration will keep the public posted, as we always do. In the meantime, pray for the victims and their families. I think I saw like 4 dead, 80 injured or something. The guy drove his pickup into the church and it started on fire. I'm not clear if he started on fire or it just started on fire because of what, him driving into it. But then he just like opened fire on the church. Scary stuff, guys. You need to be carrying. If you're not, you need to protect yourselves. Highly encourage you to do that. Yeah, devastating. Guy supposedly was not quite mentally stable, as we typically see in these situations. Not just typically, like always. They're never mentally stable. There's one more post I think I wanted to cover. Oh, it's the same thing. Yeah, here. Yeah, this is the one in light of Bibi Netanyahu meeting with Trump. We have a real chance for greatness in the Middle East. All are on board for something special. First time ever, we will get it done. And then he's meeting with Netanyahu today. So we'll see if all are actually on board. But some of the other posts that I wanted to go over have to do with tariffs. And I think are interesting. Our movie making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing candy from a baby. California, with its weak and incompetent governor, has been particularly hard hit. Therefore, in order to solve this long-time, never-ending problem, I will be imposing a 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside of the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America Great Again, President Donald J. Trump. And I feel like I've seen this post before. I feel like Trump has stated he was going to do something for the movie industry, for Hollywood. But when he does these, like his True Social feed is like an insight into his mind and like what he's doing throughout the day. Because I imagine he got a phone call from somebody. Maybe it's John Voight. I think that's his ambassador to Hollywood or something. Gets a call. He's like, yeah, things are really bad. We're not getting any movies. We're getting really hard. It's killing us. And then he goes and like, oh man, that's terrible. I'm going to post about that and we're going to implement a tariff. It's just totally different way of operating than he did his first term. It's like once a day, maybe twice a day. He's out here talking about a problem and being like, I'm going to tariff that problem to create a solution. Like tariffing the problem will give us a solution. He didn't do that in his first term. And every time I see a post like this, it just reminds me of what General Quas said at GART. And I don't remember if it was during a power hour or one of the panels. Maybe we'll see today when I do that special live coverage. 5 hours. We'll be listening to 5 hours of Gart after the show. But it always makes me think of what he said, because he was talking about wielding the economic power, and that is what Trump is doing. And it's just so interesting how things have changed in terms of warfare. It's the constant subtle hybrid warfare that we're always subject to. One of the ways you can defeat it is with economics. And this kind of goes into the Bitcoin discussion and the soft power and soft war from Jason Lowry. And it's also interesting to me, because there's another one here. In order to make North Carolina, which has completely lost its furniture business to China and other countries, great again, I will be imposing substantial tariffs on any country that does not make its furniture in the United States. Details to follow. So he's going to impose tariffs on countries that are not making its furniture in the United States. Did he mean companies? I mean, I don't understand what. Like, so if India is buying furniture for all of its office, for all the H-1B visas, based on this True Social post, he's going to tariff India for not buying its furniture from a company that is making it in the United States. He's trying to turn everything from made in China to made in USA. I mean, I low-key love it. I am curious to see the details of that one. Phil Scarborough, as someone with lots of friends in LA film production is down like 80%. It's all left California. Chris can probably back me up on this. Oh, I don't disagree. I know it's happening. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing either, though. In right now, like long term, when we get some of the stuff sorted out in our country, it would be great to make the production all come back here and make things like having a legit Hollywood where it's not like the warped mindset and the stupid policies and everything that we got in California. Maybe we need a new location for Hollywood in some red state. Or maybe Hollywood can go away altogether. I don't care. I have no friends in Hollywood. I have no love for Hollywood. I really don't care. I would love to see, I think it would benefit America as an America first person with an America first mindset. I would love to see all that stuff being done in America. So I know it's down. I just don't care. And Rebel Nader, John, how dare you? Don't make it sound like it's all stupid. Oh, wait, it is all stupid. Bay Theater Dave, this is a good way to frame it. Trump is essentially promoting the film TV industry nationwide, not Hollywood. Yeah. That's a good point, too. Because putting a tariff on another country for making movies and stuff, which would encourage those filmmakers and the film producers to come back to America and make them. If that's how it actually works, that doesn't necessarily mean they have to go to Hollywood to do it. It's a big country. There's other places. They can come to Bismarck. Nuke Hayes, Rocket. All the Mormons I know are well armed at church, even or after all the persecution that Mormons endured, like Hans Mill massacre. I've heard that too. Poyut, I don't know if I said that right, but good job, John, just saying hi for the algorithm. Like, thank you very much. Appreciate it. The Storm, is IKEA furniture made in the U.S.? Probably not all of it. Mike Irons, everybody's a white hat. Comey, BB, Ray, Putin, L. Ron Hubbard, Diddy, the drummer from Foo Fighters. We're all in on it. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think all of them. I don't even think the list you gave. I'm definitely not convinced on Comey. Definitely not convinced on Ray or BB. I think there's a great case to be made for Putin, but that doesn't mean we're right about it. But Burning Bread has definitely made a hell of an argument, and I agree with it. I don't know if I get on L. Ron Hubbard, Diddy, or the drummer from Foo Fighters. You got some explaining to do on that. Anyway, let's keep going. Oh, dang it. This was out of order. Should have talked about this at the beginning. Federal workers unions are calling on Schumer and Jeffries to hold the line, even if it means a shutdown. The Democrats and their side want the shutdown too. That's what's also very interesting. It just feels different. And maybe that doesn't matter. They're going to meet today. We'll come back and talk about it tomorrow. Giuliani reaches settlement with Dominion in the 2020 election defamation case. That sucks. But he's been going through a lot. He got in that car accident. if you've seen him on Bannon or his own show, he looks like he's been through it. Looks a little frail, comparatively from before. But yeah, there's a lawsuit. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani and Dominion Voting Systems have reached a settlement in a defamation lawsuit over Giuliani's claims about the 2020 presidential election between President Trump and Joe Biden. The parties announced on Thursday. The terms of the agreement have not been disclosed. Dominion argued that Giuliani's public and online statements caused significant financial and reputational damage. The settlement ends with one of several high-profile defamation cases tied to claims of election fraud. Both sides declined to discuss the details, indicating a mutual desire to avoid further litigation. Have we seen a single lawsuit defamation case where the election company was suing somebody for what they said about elections? Have we seen a single one of those not get settled? I don't think we've had. I don't think we've seen a single one actually go to the point of discovery, even necessarily. And maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I'm just trying to think in my mind. I know we have another story about Mike Lindell somewhere. Did I talk about that Thursday? Mike Lindell, how the judge ruled. Yeah, here we go. Judge rules Mike Lindell defamed Smartmatic over 2020 election claims. They still have to get into the damages and stuff and whether he had actual intent to harm. But federal judge in Minnesota ruled Friday that MyPillow founder Mike Lindell defamed the election technology company Smartmatic by falsely alleging its machines rigged the 2020 presidential election. U.S. District Judge Jeffrey Bryan said Smartmatic proved the statements were false, but left for later whether Lindell acted with actual malice, which the company must show to win damages. Judge cited genuine fact disputes over whether Lindell knew his claims were false, noting the defense says he holds an unwavering belief in them. The case focuses on LA County, where Lindell alleged the company's machines flipped Trump votes to Biden. Bryan found Lindell made 51 false claims in documentaries, media appearances, and speeches, writing no reasonable trier of fact could find that any of the statements at issue are true. Defamation, crazy. They're seeking 9-figure damages. We'll see what happens. Now, what happens to these if they turn out to be correct about it? What if at some point we get the exposure and disclosure we've been waiting for? We shall see. This is something that we expected. I posted about this on Twitter the other day. Let me pull up my profile and show you guys what I'm talking about. Because Oregon has sued to block Trump's deployment of National Guard to Portland. And this is what I posted, and I think I talked about this on Friday's show. September 27th. Yeah, so this would have been... Oh, no, this is Saturday. So never mind. We talked about it a little bit. Maybe Saturday? I don't know. It's all a blur lately. But anyway, Trump posted, at the request of Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, I am directing Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any of our ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other domestic terrorists. I am also authorizing full force if necessary. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And calling it war-ravaged is important. That is very important, considering the authority that they're using here. It's the posse comitatus situation. I posted on Saturday, I'm expecting there to be legal challenges to this related to the Posse Comitatus Act. I'm looking forward to seeing them outline the president's authority to use the military domestically, especially considering that I believe Trump's domestic terrorism NSPM is connected to the RICO Grande case, as I discussed on yesterday's show. That would have been Friday's show, this show. And yeah, so this is notable, but we did get the lawsuit that I was expecting right here. Oregon filed a federal lawsuit late Sunday to stop President Trump's order deploying 200 National Guard troops to Portland to protect federal buildings amid anti-ICE protests. Trump invoked Title 10 on Saturday, authorizing the deployment of 60 days, and saying the troops could use full force if necessary to protect federal immigration facilities from domestic terrorists. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield, joined by the city of Portland, sought a preliminary injunction in U.S. District Court, arguing the order violates Posse Comitatus Act. Amen. Called it. Anyway, this will be good. I love it. I love these lawsuits because we're finally getting, and this will inevitably make its way to the Supreme Court, just like California's, I think, did. Did they rule on that one? Is it this? Again, losing my mind today. Give me a break. It's Monday. But yeah, I love this stuff. I want them to define the president's authority to use the military domestically and what situations they call for, and if anybody can even question him on it, because that's what I ultimately think it is. I don't think anybody, governors, the judicial branch, I don't think they can technically question a president's authority to interpret an act of war, and whether that's necessarily from another country or from a domestic terrorist organization like Antifa, which, let's be real, that's also from another country, some of the funding anyway. I don't think they can question a president's response to that stuff. And they've said as much. Campbell versus Clinton, the 1990 case, or was it 2000 case? Whatever, doesn't matter. They've said as much, and so I'm excited to see them talk about it, and I hope they refer to that case particularly. I've been waiting for them to do that at some point. DOJ subpoenas travel records of Fani Willis in federal grand jury probe. Things are getting spicy over there for her. We'll see where it ends up. I think she's going to end up in jail. DOJ sues 6 states for failing to provide voter registration lists. Did I cover this on Friday? I don't remember if I did or not. I think I did. They're all liberal states. The one thing I'll say on it, because I do believe I covered it, is all I could think of when I saw this and continue to see it is this is the opposite approach of what they took the first term with Trump's election integrity commission that they were looking into, led by Pence. Started it in like March or May of 2017. They ended up disbanding it like a year later because all the states were suing and we're fighting them on it. So like, okay, we're giving up. This time the roles are reversed and the government is suing the states, being like, you have to give us that stuff. And that's important context to have. This came out, I think this is Australian news. I don't even know for sure. ABC News or the ABC or whatever this is. I don't know who this is. I tried figuring it out. I wanted to say it was like an Australian. Okay, never mind. It's France. Oh no. The service may include material from Agence France Presse. That can't be right. About the ABC. Let's check that out. ABC. Doesn't say ABC Australia? I don't know. Something Australian. But anyway, this is what they're saying. Classified U.S. intelligence warns of China's preparations for Taiwan invasion. The Taiwan invasion that we've been warned about for 4 years? Longer? Trump's been talking about China invading Taiwan for a long time. Anyway, a classified U.S. military intelligence report seen by the ABC. Why and how did they get to see a classified U.S. military intelligence report is my first question. Says China is rapidly building up the country's commercial ferry fleet to prepare for an invasion of Taiwan. Isn't commercial like commercially available as in like you get on a ferry and your car gets shipped from Seattle to Alaska or whatever, or from somewhere in Seattle to the Bay? It's pretty sure commercial is different than military, but anyway, not to get lost in the weeds here. The report dates from earlier this year and was prepared by members of the Defense Intelligence Agency, the DIA, for the Pentagon. U.S. intelligence says the large ocean-going vessels have been modified to carry tanks and partake in amphibious operations. The ABC has seen a report on the condition that it is not quoted directly in order to protect the source of the information. So their source has been granted anonymity. In 2022 alone, some 30 Chinese commercial ferries were monitored by Five Eyes Intelligence and military exercises involving the PLA, Five Eyes Intelligence Sharing, blah, blah, blah. China's building more than 70 of the large vessels by the end of 2026. So, more rumor mongering. I want to see that report, though. If Australia gets to see it, I feel like as an American citizen, I should get to see it, too. It's only fair. But whatever. Let's keep going here. I thought this was stupid, so I wanted to talk about it. Reuters put out a story, and they say that they uncovered that the Trump admin is prosecuting the lowest number of drug trafficking cases in decades. Why? Because the Trump admin has diverted so many law enforcement resources away from drugs to going after migrants instead. And just the sheer retardation of this post it almost like gave me a headache earlier. And thinking about it again now gives me a headache. These obviously liberals are, this is how they're spinning it. It's the reason that they're prosecuting less drug trafficking is because the law enforcement, like they're saying that the same number of drug trafficking is happening. Excuse me, but we don't have enough law enforcement to prosecute it, to fight it. And not the other way around, that Trump is actually getting the drug trafficking at the source. We're literally watching him bombing little boats coming from Venezuela or wherever they're coming from, and where they're saying they have a bunch of drugs. We've also shut down the border so less drugs are getting in. So clearly, when you get less drugs in the country, you're going to have less people trafficking drugs, which means you're going to have less prosecution of drug traffickers. These people are so stupid. Liberals are so stupid. Ugh. A couple of comments here from the chat. A couple of Rumble rants. 12 Indie Boy, good to see you, man. I think your Colts lost yesterday. That was kind of an epic fail, but I guess so did my Vikings. That was unfortunate. Our offensive line is really struggling. We had 3 backups and only 2 of our starters. I don't think we've had a single game yet this year where we had our full healthy offensive line. It's really frustrating. Anyway, Tell Boy says, won't find me on the rug of a shutdown. Never going to be a fan of a shutdown. If Trump and team are in control of something behind the scenes, should be working. Plus, I'm still on the Epstein rug. Yeah, I wonder how many rugs you can be on at one time. And is it like where you lay the rugs next to each other? And then you have one leg on this rug, one on the other rug, and then your arms? Or is it where you stack the rugs to make it ultimately a much more comfortable thing? And I feel like that's what it is. Because once you start getting on more than 1 and 2 rugs and 3 rugs, it's like you're on every rug and you're a normie and you're never off the rugs. So I feel like that's what it is. It's like layered rugs. Very comfortable, I'm assuming. Probably shag. Nice and soft. Anyway, Ash says Ash 1776 says, in the age of public-private partnerships, commerce can equal military action. That is a great point. I wish I would have thought of that myself. Great point, Ash. Thank you. Harry Vetch, I'm standing hard on the shutdown rug. I think more of us that stand on the rug, the harder it is to pull. Come on, John, get back on the rug. LOL. I like that comment. That's funny. But I don't necessarily know if that's true. I mean, in real life, if the more people you have on a real rug, definitely that's true. The more people that are on it, the harder it is to pull. But on a metaphorical rug like these, the more people on the rug, the more likely to pull it. I think it's the opposite way around. I feel like they're less likely to pull rugs or even put rugs out there for us to stand on if people stop standing on rugs all the time. But thank you for the rant. The final demand says, I live in New Hampshire, Republican governor, House, Senate, yet Kamala beat Trump. They don't want to give up the voter rolls. Tells you how corrupt the R's are here. Selected, not elected. That's everywhere, final demand. But great comment. Thank you for the rant. Keith Higgins for $1. Something tells me if we dropped Dominion and Smartmatic, went back to paper ballots, someone would sue and defame the paper company. If it's Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, I would personally defend them. I would get my law license and personally defend them in court. And I feel like many would. But anyway, let's keep going here. EA Sports. I used to play EA games back in college with my buddies. We used to play Madden or whatever. They're going private and they're being bought out by a Saudi public investment fund, Silver Lake, and Jared Kushner's affinity partners in an all-cash deal. And that's why I'm talking about this, is because Kushner's involved and so are the Saudis. But they're doing a buyout. Electronic Arts agrees to $55 billion private buyout by Saudi-led consortium. Electronic Arts, the publisher of franchises like Madden NFL and The Sims, announced on September 29th an agreement to be acquired by a consortium led by Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, Silver Lake, and Jared Kushner's affinity partners in an all-cash deal valued at $55 billion. Shareholders will receive $210 per share, a 25% premium over recent prices. Make video games great again. That's all I got to say. I used to be a huge fan of, I guess that's relative. I've never been super into video games like some people are, but me and my buddies used to play them in college all the time. And then it got to a point where we just kind of stopped because every year they come out with a new release. It would be the same video game, just new jerseys. They never actually tweak any of the gameplay. It just got stale. So I'm totally down for this. Not that I'd probably get into it, but anyway. My favorite EA game was Road Rash. I think my favorite game was the college one, the college football one. I used to like that one a lot. And then they stopped updating after like 2013 or 2014. And they didn't make a game because of the whole NCAA college rules, name, image, likeness stuff. Now they fixed that, and I think they do have games out again, but I haven't tried playing it. That was always my favorite. I got a story here. FBI lab report. They're really coming back to the J6 stuff, which I think is really good. There's a lot of misinformation. I went over this last week on the show, I think. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe that was after the show. That report that came out that there was 274 embedded plainclothes agents in the J6 crowd, which is totally fake news. Nowhere on there does it say anything about plainclothes in terms of agents being in the crowd. Also, it encompassed more than just it. The way even Kash Patel came out and defended it, saying, yeah, these are the people that responded. Some of them did respond in a crowd control role, which is against their entire mission. But it could have been the Capitol, outside, inside. It was also the J6 pipe bomb. It was multiple other things. And it included like legal consultants. So quite a bit of clickbait in that headline about that. But now we have this. The FBI lab report, contradictory witness statements inject fresh mystery in unsolved J6 pipe bomb case. The devices had destructive potential but never went off despite being reportedly planted 16 hours ahead of time, set with 1-hour timers. And one witness told investigators that at least one of the bombs may not have been planted the night before. Is that egg timers on PVC? Like, we don't know hardly anything about this situation. There's so many cases like that where this huge story at the time, it was used against us and Trump supporters for this whole insurrection narrative. And we hardly have any details on it, any actual details. But if you think just in terms of them having cell phone data and the amount of information these people like Palantir and all these assholes have on us, that they couldn't figure out who that guy was or who that person was, give me a break. But maybe we're going to get there. Maybe that's why they're bringing it back up in the news again. And I bet they're going to tie that to the Grand RICO case too. Let's call my shot now, long term. FBI calls Michigan church shooting a targeted attack as toll rises to 4 dead. This was out of order. I apologize. House Intel inquiry sent criminal referral to DOJ on strange health incidents on Havana syndrome. The House Intel Committee continues to ramp up its investigation of the Intel community's mishandling of the mysterious illness dubbed the Havana syndrome. I am curious to see where they get with this and how deep they actually go into it. Because I feel like we get stories about Havana syndrome often throughout the years, but we've never really dug super deep into it. Don't need to go that. There was this story earlier. Scared the shit out of me when I clicked into the Fox News.
First of all, the Taliban will never accept the return to the U.S.
Did you guys hear that noise? You must have, because I was on this page. When I clicked into it, it started playing the video, and I thought, "Oh my gosh!" Did not know what that was. It scared the shit out of me. Sorry. Anyway, China will not let Trump take Bagram Air Force Base back from the Taliban without a fight, expert warns. So maybe we will go to war with China over Bagram Air Force Base. And then, no, already did that. Oh, all right. We might be done. Let me see if there's any new news on the meeting between Trump and Bibi Netanyahu. Ooh, we got an interesting commercial from Kash Patel. We'll play that here. Yeah, I don't see anything. So yeah, let's watch this quick, and then I'll see if there's any more rants, and then I'll get you guys out of here over to Y-Chromes. This is from Kash Patel. IT professionals, the FBI needs you. Join today.
Every second, cyber threats evolve. Terrorists, hackers, foreign adversaries. They're targeting more than data. They're targeting our nation. At the FBI, we don't just react. We pursue. We protect. We stay ahead. In the digital trenches, your code has consequences. Your analysis has impact. And your technical expertise could stop the next big threat before it ever happens. Whether you're in cybersecurity, digital forensics, data science, cloud or network engineering, system administration, or artificial intelligence, the FBI needs you to defend what matters most. This isn't just IT. This is national security. The FBI. Tech forward, mission ready.
Ooh. Juicy. I really wanted to watch it because I wanted to see if it had the same vibe and feel of like those fourth PSYOP videos that used to come out, and it didn't. But it made me think, we haven't had a fourth PSYOP video in, why is there a, my daughter's watching Barbie stuff again. My daughter's birthday is coming up, and she really wants like a Barbie dollhouse thing and a bunch of Barbie toys. Anyway, we haven't had a fourth PSYOP group video in over a year, and they did it, I think it was consecutive. So this was, let me see, Ghost in the Machine. This was 3 years ago. What was the date? May 2nd, 2022. Then we had this Resistance. What was the date on that? Oh, 2024. So they kind of went 2 years between. Maybe we have to wait till April, but it's usually around like the April-May timeframe, if I remember correctly. Anyway, guys, I think that's all I have. Let me check for rants one more time, and then I'm going to raid you over to, yeah, no rants. I'll do a soft disclosure commercial, and then I'm going to raid you over to Y-Chromes, but then keep in mind, I'm going to do the replay of GART on YouTube and through our studio right after this, because I got it the 5 hours in. So make sure you guys tune in if you want, if you haven't seen the GART stuff. But you guys have a great rest of your day. I will see you tonight on Baseless Conspiracies.
Deodorant should do more than cover you up. It should protect you all day long.
Dude, the deodorant stick is legit. I like the mint one. And, you know, you go work out and you kind of get like, you know, you get funky if you work out. Dude, like at the end of my workout, like I'm sweating, shirt got all those sweat. Like I'm like, dude, I still smell good. Like I absolutely love it. If you guys haven't tried it, try it.
That's the difference with Soft Disclosure. No aluminum, no chemicals, just clean, natural ingredients that fight odor and keep you fresh through every workout, every meeting, every moment.
I've always struggled with the, like, you can't use aluminum deodorant because you're going to die if you use it kind of thing, because all of the non-aluminum aluminum deodorant products suck pretty much. Yeah. This is different. This is all day. You're all day good, and you're not putting any of that disgusting chemicals right near your lymph nodes.
Soft Disclosure deodorant, real protection, real freshness, built on truth. Available in mint and lemon grapefruit. Visit softdisclosure.com and use promo code Badlands for 15% off.
Soft Disclosure.